Hello, Newtown! Hello, Newtown! Great to see you all. Thank you, former Chair Eric. Thank you, new Chair Rebecca. Thank you for leading our party here in Newtown. Thank you, Newtown. I can't believe it's been 4 years since I first came here and asked for your support for Attorney General. Can you believe that? I would not be here without Newtown at the convention, in the primary, in the general. So I am grateful. And because Newtown is so important to me, I returned early on in my term to wrap dumplings for all of you, if you remember. So when are we wrapping dumplings again? All right, here's the deal. I will come back and wrap dumplings if the other constitutional officers will do the dishes. Does that work? Okay. So let me say, first of all, a word of thanks also to Ned Lamont and Susan Beisowitz for keeping us safe and healthy for the last 3 years during this pandemic. Can we give them another round of applause? And apart from the COVID pandemic, and hopefully we'll move beyond the COVID pandemic at some point, but every day in the Office of the Attorney General, I fight what is really the worst public health crisis in America, and that's the opioid and addiction crisis. And as you may know, Connecticut was part of a team of states that forced the 3 major drug distributors and Johnson & Johnson to pay $26 billion to hold them accountable for their role in this crisis. It's the second largest multi-state cash settlement in history. And then I was part of a small group of states, 8 of us and the District of Columbia, who took the fight to Purdue Pharma and the Sacklers to hold them accountable, to force them to apologize and to pay $6 billion for their role in fueling this crisis. But I don't have to tell you that those aren't the only extraordinary threats. And so let me give you a report from the front lines of the fight in the Supreme Court. Right before the 4th of July, when we're supposed to celebrate America's independence and liberty, the Supreme Court, days before that, did incredible damage to freedom and our Constitution and our country. We were involved in all the big cases, but 3 big ones, very quickly. The first was the West Virginia case, right? That was about the EPA's power to uphold and enforce the Clean Air Act, and the EPA's power to keep our environment clean and to fight climate change. And the Supreme Court said, no, even though we've been doing that for 100 years plus, the EPA doesn't have the power, in large measure, to enforce the Clean Air Act. And that will do incredible damage, not just to environmental protection and the EPA, but the quality of our air here that we and our children and our families breathe. The West Virginia case was joined by the Bruen case, right? I want to thank Senator Murphy for his incredible work in passing far-reaching gun violence legislation. I don't have to tell this town, this community, what it means to have strong gun laws, how important it is. And the Supreme Court said, well, you know, we're going to institute a new test and throw into doubt all the gun laws and anti-gun violence laws we passed here in Connecticut and across the country. And so, because of what the Supreme Court did in Bruen, we're going to see a raft of litigation challenging Connecticut's gun laws, but we are ready. And I can tell you, as your Attorney General, I am eminently confident that our laws are constitutional, that they're defensible, and we will fight tooth and nail to protect them. So, the final case is Dobbs. And I think all of us had a sense this day was coming, and even after Justice Alito's draft decision was released, I think some of us, including me, had a hard time believing it. We hoped that one of them would go a different direction, and it wouldn't be as bad as it was. But it was every bit as bad as we thought it could be. The Supreme Court reversing Roe versus Wade, carpet bombing fundamental liberties that have been in place for as long as most of us have been alive. I was born roughly a month before Roe versus Wade was decided. So I have only lived in a world, right, in which abortion has been safe, legal, and accessible to my family, to my wife, to my sisters, to my daughters, and now in just an instant, the Supreme Court has split this country in two and put the lives of millions of American women, patients, doctors, healthcare providers at risk. And now you hear Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy, they say that when they get control, if they get control, we're not done fighting. If they get control of Congress, they will try to pass a nationwide ban on abortion. Let me tell you, the second, if they're successful, the second they do that, I will be the first to sue. So this is, mine is not a happy message, but it's an important one, right? Because I want to tell you what's at stake. I think there's a temptation to think that we're at the end of the battle, that the fall of Roe was the end. No, that's just the beginning, right? What's now going to happen, and don't believe anybody who tells you that we're good because we've codified Roe versus Wade. And don't believe the Republicans running against us that they support reproductive freedom and choice. Don't worry about it, we'll be fine. Don't believe them for a second, because we're not good. As long as there are people in this country who don't have access to reproductive freedom and choice and health care, nobody is safe. And they will come for us. They will file cases, they will file lawsuits, they will come to the legislature, and they will try to pick at and overturn the laws that we have passed. And so, understand what is at stake in this election. Why Tim and Phoebe have to get elected. Why you have to knock on every door, put up every sign, give as much money as you can to this party and to candidates. Because we're all that's left. It's all on us. Connecticut, other states that protect and honor a woman's and patient's right to choose, and all of you, this party, it's all on us. So are you with me? Are you going to fight for these candidates? Are you going to fight for women and patients and doctors and nurses? Let's go!